when you're considering like the how of like how to build out more of a data organization, are there certain priorities that you would, I guess, like give like general recommendations toward like at this sort of stage of maturity of your organization? Like this is probably going to be likely more important than not. Is there any sort of input you have around that?
I have ideas, and I'm certainly biased by my experiences. So, I've worked now at a 0 to 15 person startup. I was at a startup previously, 10 to about 30 people, and then GitLab is certainly the biggest scale up that I've been at. And yeah, early days, it's kind of just the key metrics that you care about. If you are like us and are pre-revenue and just an open source product, you have to kind of be a little bit more thoughtful about your metrics. Do we care about GitHub stars? Do we care about contributions? Do we care about deployed projects? Things like that. Once you have revenue coming in the door, it makes sense. What's your customer count? What's your ARR? And kind of what's your retention rate? But then as you grow from there, you're tweaking knobs to improve specific metrics and outcomes. And if you want to grow larger customers, and that's where I think data teams can start to add value on being able to slice and dice data better and present a better picture of reality. Because that's another framing of all this is data teams. There's all this data flowing, and you can't possibly have the entire map of reality for your business or your organization in your head. And so data teams are trying to create that shared representation of reality as close to accurate as possible. And early days, it's directionality. And as you get larger, you need a more accurate representation of reality. And you need to make sure that there aren't shared realities between different organizations. And that's where this like arbiter of the data team can come in, I think.
And when you say the arbiter of the data team, is this when you're talking about like the more senior like leadership representation?
Yeah. So exactly. So you have somebody, and sometimes it can be the CEO or some executive if they have that confidence to be able to say, okay, you have a different number, they have a different number. What's right? And show me the process of how you got to there. If you have somebody who's head of data, that should be their responsibility to essentially reconcile those and say, like, yes, we believe this is this source of truth. Here's why that number is wrong. Or you would phrase it maybe a little bit better when you're in the actual meeting. Here's why we believe there's a discrepancy in this number, and this is why our number is better. By arbiter of the data, I think who's the person responsible, and then who is actually like overseeing the conversations and also the actual processes in place.
I think arbiter of the truth is so important, and single source of truth is so critical. Yeah, I would just double click on that. But yeah,
Taylor, that might be the new license plate you'll have to get, is the arbiter of the truth.
That's more of a bumper sticker. I don't know if I can fit that in 8 letters.